Is it okay if
It's
you can
okay.
start it now?
We can start now. We can start whenever you want to start.
Oh, that sounds really cool. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Here we've got special guest. She is my friend and I met her in my hometown Jual. Still fresh in my mind that we ever met in Saraba, which is one of the popular place in my hometown Jual. And probably you still remember that at that time I asked you how to organize the content in our English course. So basically I learned a lot from you. Yeah, I learned a lot from you.
I remember you brought me to that nice coffee shop and we sat there and had coffee and
it's called Saraba.
Oh, that's what you were saying. Okay.
Before we start, I would like you to introduce yourself. You could tell your name, where you are coming from, and tell me a little bit about your family.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah Silverstein, and I am from the USA, Denver, Colorado is where I'm from. But right now, I am on my boat in Penang, Malaysia. So my family and I have been sailing around the world for the last 9 years. I have a husband that I've been married to for 17 years and 2 children. So we've been sailing around on our sailboat and that's been our life so far. I'm a school teacher by trade. I went to college to be a school teacher. And so I have been teaching my children as we've sailed.
So here I have several questions that I would like to ask you. I would like to ask you your experience about traveling. The first question that popped up in my mind is, why do you choose to be a traveler and how many countries have you reached?
Well, my husband and I decided to travel because we love to learn about different places. And we also like to show our kids. And so it's a wonderful way to learn about the world and meet different cultures. That is the number one reason I love to travel. We've also loved to see different environments and different kinds of animals and scenery. We have been, I counted the other day, we have been to 36 countries in the world so far.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's amazing. I can hardly believe it myself.
Wow, yeah. Okay, what do you do while you are traveling?
Well, while we're traveling, we enjoy diving, scuba diving. Both of my children are scuba divers, so we like to see underwater as well as above the water. We like to help other communities, so we don't consider ourselves really tourists, but traveling is a better way to say, because as we travel, we want to be part of the communities that we come to. So I like to teach in the schools that we visit. I like to help the women of the community to learn how to read and cook different things. I also like to learn new recipes from them. My husband enjoys fixing things. So he likes to fix generators and boats and sewing machines. He's fixed anything you can think of, he's tried to fix for people that we've met. We like to fish and the kids like to play on the beach. We just like to enjoy nature and enjoy the people and places we see.
That's amazing. You know, you mentioned that you love to help community, right? And that remind me, at that time, we invited you to come to our English course and give some motivation to our students. And that was really amazing for us. You know, it was such an honor for us to have you in our English course. Thank you very much.
It was wonderful for me too, because sometimes when we go to a place and we don't meet someone, then we don't really get an inside look at their culture and at their life. So it's always better to meet people, not just see all the tourist places, but meet people. So thank you for letting me come.
Okay. In which season do you prefer to travel?
Ooh, that's a good question. We prefer to travel when the weather is nice. Sometimes we have to plan our travel around the season. Because we sail, we have to make sure that we will not be in any storms or typhoons or cyclones. So we watch the weather very carefully. Every place that we have sailed, it's usually warm weather, very warm weather. But there are certain times that you sail in certain places based on the wind. So we avoid the strong winds and the storms as much as possible.
Okay. Traveling costs a lot of money, right? So in your opinion, what is the best way to save money while traveling?
Well, maybe I have a biased opinion because I like traveling by sailboat because it's very inexpensive. Once you buy the boat, then you always have your hotel with you. Like my home is always with me. I never pay for a hotel. I always have transportation. I never pay for airline tickets. And that is really the major cost in travel, is the airline tickets and the accommodations where you stay. So once you have your boat, then that provides those two things. And for us, I would say the biggest cost comes from just maintaining the boat, buying fuel. So as we travel, we try to eat locally. We don't eat very many fancy meals or go to the tourist restaurants. We try to eat local food because it's usually much less expensive. And we will only pick a few things that are tourist attractions to go see, because those cost a lot of money as well. So we try to do hikes that are free, do more free things, go to the beach, go on a hike. So we try to just lower our expenses by doing more free activities and eating locally.
Okay, so I got the point that the best way to save money while traveling is to have your own boat, right?
Of course.
Okay.
If you can, but not everyone can, yeah? If you can't, then I think that you need to go maybe at the middle of the season, not the high season, when all the tourists are usually traveling. You can find cheaper rates on hotels and for flights if you go in the in-between time.
So I'm wondering, probably this is a private question, but I'm wondering, what is the price of your boat?
Well, I would say that my answer to that question is always that it's the price of our house. We sold our house in the US and we bought this boat. So it's quite expensive. But once we bought this boat, we sold our house and we don't have a house anymore.
Even though you don't have a house right now, but you have the world, right?
That's right. So we bring our house with us. Our boat is our house. House.
Well, that's fantastic. Okay, so what are some of the problems that you encounter when you are in long distance traveling?
Long distance traveling requires careful planning. And so we have to plan with the weather. We have to make sure that the weather forecast looks good. We have to plan for what we'll need. So we have to have all of our medications that we need to take, anything that we might need to take. So I ask the doctor to prescribe things like antibiotics and special medications that we might need. And we also have to have all of the spare parts that might break on the boat, because there's no mechanic. There's no place to go buy the spare parts. So we have to plan very carefully. And for me, my biggest job is to plan for the food. So we call it provisioning. I have to provision enough food for the time period that we are going to be gone. And then even a little extra in case we get stuck somewhere or we need a few extra meals. So careful planning is important. And I think medical knowledge, medical books. We have a lot of books that we carry with us in case we need to find something out, because we don't have YouTube when we're traveling. There's no internet until we get to a town like Jual, but there's no internet. So we have to either have a book that has that information or have a file on our computer with that information, with the medical information and the mechanical information that we might need.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see.